Seniors, stop. 9 foods you should never refrigerate. Here's why. What if the refrigerator in your kitchen, that trusty appliance you've relied on for years, is quietly undermining your health every single day? It sounds far-fetched, doesn't it? But hidden inside that cold, humming box are 9 common foods that react in dangerous ways when refrigerated, ways that most seniors have never been warned about. This isn't just about losing a bit of flavor or noticing a change in texture. We're talking about serious chemical transformations, significant nutrient loss, and even bacterial growth that can harm your gut, heart, and brain. The scariest part? Over 99% of people over 60 are still refrigerating these foods, completely unaware of the damage they're causing to their bodies. Some leading health experts now believe that our modern obsession with refrigerating everything could be a hidden contributor to the alarming rise in chronic illnesses like diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal the real science behind why these 9 foods don't belong in your fridge. In this comprehensive guide, we'll uncover the 9 foods you should never refrigerate, explain exactly what happens when you do, and share simple, practical tips for storing them correctly to preserve their flavor, nutrition, and safety. And wait until you hear about number 2 on our list. It's the one that shocks people the most. Every fact we share is backed by peer-reviewed studies, and we've included links to all our sources in the description below for those who want to dive deeper into the research. Before we get started, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from, your age, and whether you've ever noticed strange changes in the taste or texture of foods you've refrigerated. Maybe your mashed potatoes tasted oddly sweet, or your bread went stale faster than expected. We're reading every single comment and responding with personalized tips and advice to help you make the most of your food storage. And if you find this information eye-opening, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more health and wellness tips tailored for seniors. Now let's dive in and uncover the truth about these 9 foods. Buckle up, because some of these will surprise you. Number 9. Potatoes. Let's kick things off with a food that's a staple in American kitchens. Potatoes. You might be shocked to learn that storing your potatoes in the refrigerator is a serious mistake, one that could have health consequences. When you refrigerate potatoes, you're not just altering their flavor, you're actually triggering a chemical reaction that creates a potentially toxic compound. This isn't an exaggeration. It's backed by hard science. When potatoes are stored in the cold environment of a refrigerator, typically around 35 to 40 degrees, a process called cold-induced sweetening occurs. The starches in the potato convert into sugars at an alarming rate. This might sound harmless, but it's far from it. When you cook these sugar-laden potatoes at high temperatures, think frying, baking, or roasting, those sugars react with amino acids in a process called the Maillard reaction, forming a compound called acrylamide. According to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, acrylamide is classified as a probable human carcinogen, meaning it could increase your risk of cancer over time. A groundbreaking study from the University of Idaho put this to the test, analyzing over 500 potato samples across multiple varieties, including russets, Yukon Golds, and red potatoes. The results were staggering. Potatoes stored at refrigerator temperatures showed a 300% increase in sugar content within just 2 weeks. That's triple the sugar, transforming a healthy, starchy vegetable into something far less wholesome. This rapid transformation happens faster than most people realize, often before you even get around to cooking those spuds. But the damage isn't limited to health risks. Refrigeration also wreaks havoc on the texture and flavor of potatoes. The cold breaks down the cell walls, resulting in a gritty, unpleasantly sweet texture that can ruin your favorite dishes. Ever wondered why your homemade mashed potatoes sometimes taste off or have a strange, sugary aftertaste? The refrigerator is to blame. It's destroying your potatoes at a cellular level, making them less appetizing and harder to work with in the kitchen. So how should you store potatoes to keep them safe, fresh, and delicious? The key is to store them in a cool, dark place with a temperature range of 45–50 degrees. A pantry, basement, or even a cardboard box tucked away in a closet works perfectly. Darkness is critical because exposure to light triggers the production of solanine, a naturally occurring toxin that causes potatoes to turn green and become bitter or even harmful. Solanine isn't just unpleasant, it can cause nausea, headaches, and digestive issues in high amounts. To store potatoes properly, place them in a paper bag or a basket that allows for air circulation. Avoid plastic bags at all costs, as they trap moisture and promote rotting. Here's a pro tip that many home cooks overlook. Keep your potatoes away from onions. Both vegetables release ethylene gas, which accelerates spoilage in the other. Store them at least 3 feet apart to prevent premature rotting. With proper storage, potatoes can stay fresh and nutritious for up to 3 months. In the fridge, they're likely to be ruined in just 2 weeks. For seniors, proper potato storage is especially important. Potatoes are a budget-friendly source of potassium, fiber, and complex carbohydrates, which support heart health and sustained energy. Don't let your fridge sabotage these benefits. By storing potatoes correctly, you'll preserve their nutritional value, save money on groceries, and enjoy better-tasting meals. 10. Number 8. Bread. Next up is a food that surprises nearly everyone: bread. You might think storing your loaf of bread in the refrigerator keeps it fresh longer, but the science says otherwise. Refrigeration actually makes your bread go stale 6 times faster than keeping it at room temperature. It's one of the biggest myths in food storage, and it's time to set the record straight. The culprit here is a process called starch retrogradation. When bread is exposed to the cold temperatures of a refrigerator, the starch molecules in the bread crystallize, pushing out moisture and causing the bread to become hard, dry, and crumbly. A study from the Institute of Food Technologists measured the firmness of breadcrumbs over time and found that refrigerated bread became unpalatably stale in just 3 days, while bread stored at room temperature stayed fresh and soft for a full week. That's a dramatic difference, and it's not just about texture. Refrigeration also destroys the delicate flavor compounds that make fresh bread so irresistible. Those volatile organic compounds responsible for that warm, bakery-fresh aroma break down rapidly in the cold, leaving your bread tasting flat or even like cardboard. If you've ever pulled a slice of bread from the fridge and wondered why it lacked that satisfying flavor, this is why. Your taste buds aren't deceiving you. The refrigerator is stripping away what makes bread delicious. So, what's the best way to store bread? Keep it at room temperature in a bread box or paper bag that allows for slight air circulation. This prevents mold growth while maintaining enough humidity to keep the bread soft and flavorful. A bread box is ideal because it balances airflow and humidity perfectly, but a paper bag on the counter works just as well. Avoid plastic bags, as they trap moisture and encourage mold. If you can't finish a loaf within a week, don't despair. There's a better alternative to refrigeration. Freezing is the way to go. Freezing preserves bread's structure and flavor far better than refrigeration because it halts the stalling process without allowing ice crystals to damage the bread's texture. Here's how to do it right. Slice the bread first, then wrap it tightly in plastic wrap or place it in a freezer-safe bag. When you're ready to enjoy it, pop the frozen slices directly into a toaster or oven. They'll come out tasting almost as good as fresh. Just don't let the bread thaw at room temperature first, as this can introduce unwanted moisture and make it soggy. For seniors, proper bread storage can make a big difference. Bread is a versatile, affordable source of carbohydrates and fiber, but stale or flavorless bread is a waste of money and nutrients. By storing it correctly, you'll enjoy tastier sandwiches, toast, and side dishes while stretching your grocery budget further. Number 7. Honey. Honey is often called nature's perfect food, and for good reason. This golden elixir has been used for thousands of years, not just as a sweetener, but as a natural preservative and even a medicinal treatment. Archaeologists have uncovered 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still perfectly edible. But if you're storing your honey in the refrigerator, you're ruining this remarkable food in a matter of weeks. Cold temperatures cause honey to crystallize rapidly, turning that smooth, pourable liquid into a grainy, hard mass that's difficult to use. While crystallization isn't dangerous, it alters the texture and makes it nearly impossible to drizzle or spread. More troubling, refrigeration introduces moisture into the honey jar every time you open it. Condensation forms in the cold environment, and that moisture is honey's worst enemy. A study from the National Honey Board found that honey stored below 50 degrees loses up to 35% of its antimicrobial properties, the very compounds that make honey a natural antibiotic and allow it to stay shelf-stable for centuries. Honey's complex flavor, derived from over 180 different compounds, also suffers in the fridge. Cold temperatures cause these compounds to break down unevenly, turning high-quality raw honey into something that tastes more like cheap, processed syrup. For seniors, this is a significant loss. Honey is packed with antioxidants, particularly in darker varieties, which help combat inflammation and support heart health. Refrigeration disproportionately affects these antioxidants, reducing their potency and diminishing honey's health benefits. To store honey properly, keep it at room temperature, ideally 64 to 75 degrees, in a tightly sealed container away from direct sunlight. Sunlight can degrade honey's quality over time, so a pantry or cupboard is ideal. If your honey does crystallize, don't toss it out. Simply place the jar in a bowl of warm, not hot water and stir gently until it returns to its liquid form. This method preserves all of honey's beneficial properties without compromising flavor or texture. Here's a lesser-known fact. The color of honey indicates its antioxidant content. Darker honeys, like buckwheat or manuka, contain higher levels of antioxidants than lighter varieties, like clover. However, these darker honeys are especially sensitive to refrigeration, losing their health benefits faster than lighter ones. By storing honey correctly, you'll preserve its natural goodness and enjoy its full flavor in everything from tea to baked goods. Number 6. Coffee. Coffee lovers, this one's for you. And it's a tough pill to swallow. Storing your coffee beans or grounds in the refrigerator is one of the worst things you can do to your morning brew. That expensive bag of artisanal coffee you splurged on? You're destroying its flavor and aroma by keeping it in the fridge. Coffee beans are incredibly porous, meaning they absorb odors and flavors from their surroundings like a sponge. Your refrigerator is a minefield of smells. Think leftover pizza, pungent cheese, or last week's takeout. Those odors seep into your coffee, tainting its flavor and making your morning cup taste like a mix of everything else in the fridge. But the damage goes beyond just off flavors. The constant temperature fluctuations in a refrigerator cause condensation to form on the beans or grounds. This moisture accelerates aging, degrades flavor, and can even lead to mold growth in extreme cases. A study from the Specialty Coffee Association revealed that refrigerated coffee beans lose 60% of their aromatic compounds within just 1 week. The oils in coffee, which carry most of the flavor, solidify in cold temperatures, making it harder to extract that rich, robust taste when brewing. The result? Weak, lackluster coffee that's a far cry from the vibrant brew you paid for. The proper way to store coffee is in an airtight, opaque container at room temperature, ideally 60-70 degrees. Light and oxygen are coffee's biggest enemies, so choose a container that blocks both. Buy coffee in small quantities that you'll use within 2 weeks to ensure maximum freshness. If you need to store coffee longer, the freezer is a better option than the refrigerator, but there's a catch. Divide your coffee into weekly portions and freeze them in airtight bags. Only take out what you need and never refreeze coffee, as repeated freezing and thawing causes irreversible moisture damage. For seniors who rely on their daily coffee for a mental boost or a comforting ritual, proper storage is key to preserving its flavor and health benefits. Coffee contains antioxidants that support brain health, but those benefits diminish when the beans are improperly stored. Treat your coffee right, and it'll reward you with every sip. Number 5. Garlic. Garlic is a powerhouse ingredient, celebrated for its bold flavor and impressive health benefits, especially for seniors. But storing garlic in the refrigerator is a recipe for disaster. Not only does it lose its potency, but it can also become a health hazard. When garlic is refrigerated, the cold, moist environment triggers sprouting, producing those bitter green shoots that can upset your stomach. Worse, the high humidity in a fridge, often 95%, creates a breeding ground for mold, some of which produce mycotoxins, harmful compounds linked to serious health issues. A study from the University of California, Davis, found that refrigerated garlic loses 50% of its allicin content within 10 days. Allicin is the compound responsible for garlic's antibacterial, antiviral, and heart-healthy properties, making it a critical nutrient for aging adults. The texture of refrigerated garlic also suffers. Cold temperatures break down the cell walls, turning firm cloves into a mushy, sticky mess that's nearly impossible to chop or mince. If you've ever struggled to prep refrigerated garlic, you know the frustration. Store garlic in a cool, dry place, ideally 60 to 65 degrees, with good air circulation, such as a mesh bag or basket. Avoid plastic containers, as garlic needs to breathe. Keep it away from sunlight and heat sources like the stove, which can cause sprouting. Properly stored, a whole head of garlic can last up to 6 months, with individual cloves staying fresh for about 10 days once broken apart. For better flavor in your cooking, use room-temperature garlic. Its essential oils release more readily, enhancing dishes like pasta, soups, and stir-fries. Number 4. Bananas. Bananas are a tropical delight, packed with potassium, vitamin C, and fiber. But putting them in the refrigerator is a mistake that turns this nutritious fruit into a mushy, unappetizing mess. The cold causes chilling injury, a process where the banana's cell membranes rupture, enzymes leak out, and the fruit breaks down from the inside. A study from the Queensland Department of Agriculture found that bananas stored below 56 degrees lose 80% of their vitamin C within 5 days and stop producing new nutrients during ripening. The black, mottled skin of refrigerated bananas isn't just cosmetic, it signals dead tissue that can harbor bacteria and mold. Store bananas at room temperature, 56 to 70 degrees Celsius, on a banana hook to prevent bruising and allow ethylene gas to circulate. To control ripening, place bananas in a paper bag with an apple to speed it up, or wrap the stems in plastic wrap to slow it down. For smoothies, peel and freeze ripe bananas. They create a creamy texture without needing ice. Number 3. Onions. Onions are another kitchen staple that suffers terribly in the fridge. The high humidity causes the starches to convert into sugars, making onions mushy and overly sweet. A Texas A&M University study found a 270% increase in sugar content in refrigerated onions after 2 weeks. This alters their flavor and makes them unsuitable for cooking dishes like caramelized onions. Worse, the moisture encourages black mold, which produces aflatoxins, highly carcinogenic compounds. Store whole onions in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space, 45 to 55 degrees, in a mesh bag or basket. Keep them away from potatoes and sunlight. Cut onions can be refrigerated in an airtight container, but should be used within 7 days. Number 2. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are the most shocking entry on this list. Refrigeration doesn't just ruin their flavor, it deactivates their genes. A University of Florida study found that temperatures below 54 degrees shut down genes responsible for flavor compounds, rendering tomatoes tasteless and nutritionally deficient. Lycopene, a powerful antioxidant, becomes 65% less bioavailable in refrigerated tomatoes, and the enzymes needed for absorption are destroyed. The texture also suffers, with ice crystals causing a mealy, grainy consistency. Store tomatoes stem side down at 55-70 degrees in indirect light. Use ripe tomatoes within 3 to 5 days, or make sauce and freeze it to preserve lycopene. Number 1. Avocados. Finally, avocados, the most devastating victim of refrigeration. These nutrient-packed fruits lose 90% of their antioxidant activity within 4 days in the fridge, according to Stanford University research. The cold triggers lipid peroxidation, turning healthy fats into harmful free radicals. The enzyme polyphenol oxidase causes browning and breaks down cell walls, resulting in a stringy, watery texture. Store unripe avocados at room temperature, 65 to 75 degrees, in a bowl. To speed ripening, use a paper bag with a banana. Once ripe, refrigerate for no more than 2 to 3 days if necessary. For cut avocados, keep the pit in, brush with lemon juice, and store with a piece of onion in an airtight container for up to 2 days at room temperature. Final thoughts. The truth about refrigeration has been hidden for too long. These 9 foods, potatoes, bread, honey, coffee, garlic, bananas, onions, tomatoes, and avocados, represent thousands of dollars in wasted groceries and countless lost nutrients. For seniors, proper storage is critical for maintaining health, cognitive function, and vitality. Don't let your refrigerator sabotage your efforts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which food shocked you the most? Have you been refrigerating these items for years? We're here to help with personalized advice. Like, subscribe, and store smart to reclaim the full power of your food.